In this video, we're going to find out if my marketplace is outperforming the Vancouver marketplace and if Surrey is actually a better buy. But first, and as always, I wanted to let you know that this channel is dedicated to educating you, the public, about Surrey and Fraser Valley real estate. And once in a while, we talk about provincial topics or even sometimes the federal level. And if that sounds interesting to you, I invite you to please subscribe to the channel and make sure you ring that bell. And I know you're sick of me asking you to please make sure to click the like button to help me get this information out to other people, because that's how YouTube works. And on a recent video, only over 7,500 of you watching actually clicked that like button, meaning that something like 164,000 of you didn't. And if I'm going to be truthful, those people kind of made me feel pretty insecure about it. Oh, thank you. Wow. That means a lot. Actually, thank you so much that I would like to give you a gift. You can download my Informed Buyer's Guide right now down below in the description. And last, before I get into the numbers here, if you are a real estate agent that does need help, there are links to both my mentorship group and the real estate video course down below in the description. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video where I'll give you a discount code so you can start getting even better at business, but also as a reward for listening to me talk about real estate statistics even longer. All right, let's do it. You know me, Stats Center, Stats Geek. Let's get into Stats Center right here. And I apologize, you can't see behind my face because it's a share screen thingy. But this is the numbers currently for the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board benchmark pricing. What I'm going to do is pop into the next column and do another line. And currently that will become the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver as a total. To make this a little bit easier for you to see, I'm going to go out to the maximum distance, which is 2005 January, and I'm going to now get rid of my criteria so we can see what the market has done. And I am absolutely astounded by this craziness. You can always see here that our market with the Vancouver market has tracked very much on pace over the years. Obviously, though, because we are out in the burbs in the Fraser Valley, our price point has always been lower. I just realized I failed to define these areas. So the Vancouver Real Estate Board, or the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver, is Vancouver, Burnaby, New West, Richmond. It goes all the way out to Maple Ridge and then up the North Shore as well, North Vancouver, West Vancouver. It also includes South Delta, but my real estate board here and where my office is starts in North Delta. It includes Surrey, White Rock, Langley, Abbotsford, and goes as far as Mission, which is a little strange because you figure Mission might be included in the Vancouver board. But anyway, if you know anything about geographics there, it would make sense. And this does not include Chilliwack, just so you know. Chilliwack actually has its own board. So let's pop back into it here. Now, this is why I wanted to do this. I saw these numbers, and this to me makes almost no sense. Look at the price point on average. Now this is all, or sorry, not average. This is benchmark price. All asset classes combined, the Fraser Valley since basically mid 2021 has outperformed, completely outperformed. Let me zoom in a little bit closer here for you so you can see what that is. This gap has always remained very much the same. At the beginning of COVID and the pandemic, we kind of thought that it would come closer together as a result of people fleeing to the suburbs. But look at this, over the last little while, that gap has completely closed. And if you look at these numbers, last month as a whole, the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board is now more expensive than the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver. Now, let me preface that a little bit. Often this will be a result of, as you get closer now to town, you're going to end up with smaller properties, more apartments, and apartments will sell less. And as you get further out of town, you're going to run into things like acreages and larger properties and bigger homes. So it is a little bit skewed. If I pop back into it here and bring down my search menu here, for instance, detached homes, there's still a big gap in detached homes. Apartments, still a big gap. Townhomes, still a big gap. So this is actually leading me to believe that there's actually probably more apartments and things like that selling in the Vancouver board than the Fraser Valley board. But doesn't make for as good a video, does it? So let's go back to all property types where they cross over, go back out to max, and I'm going to make this a little bit easier to see. To me, that's absolutely astounding. However, there are different ways to measure price. Median price is the middle sale price for the month. HPI is calculated differently. Look at the median price though. Whoa, it's even crazier if you zoom in. Let's go back and zoom in again. The median price in the Fraser Valley board actually crossed Vancouver's board in December. I can't believe the suburbs are technically more expensive, even though the actual home you buy, not really the case. You can tell though, they always really tracked really close to each other with a few exceptions month over month. But now Fraser Valley has taken over. The Fraser Valley board median price is up 43%. Vancouver board is only up 14%. Now let's go to average sale price. Average sale price is obviously, again, a calculation. All the amount of sale prices divided by the amount of sales. And we're seeing the exact same trend. This is still lower, but the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board is catching up and outperforming, Vancouver agents, outperforming the Vancouver market. Now, whether or not that will continue, I actually have some theories on that. I think the Vancouver board is not seeing the investment that the cheaper board has seen. There's a very good chance that the investors are coming out to where we are here in the Valley and buying cheaper product. There's not a lot of people buying investment properties, for instance, on the west or in West Vancouver. And the West Vancouver market, believe it or not, year over year is actually down in price. It's like the only city, I think, in the lower mainland that's down on price at all. But those are coming very close. And it's breaking, the strange part to me is the fact that it's breaking the trend of always being almost the same distance apart the whole time. And the Fraser Valley board is really doing well. There is another option though. The other option is the fact that Surrey has arrived, right? Surrey, Langley, North Delta, it is now the place that people want to be. And I know, if you know the area, Surrey has kind of always been the city with the bad name, but the city has worked really hard to kind of come out of that. And when you break these numbers down, which I did on a previous video, city by city, you can see that Surrey's actually performing very well, as is Abbotsford, as is Mission. All right, so let's keep going now. Number of sales is also extremely important. I would assume Vancouver is going to always be higher. Vancouver is quite a bit higher. It's just a more populous area. So of course they had almost 3,500 sales. Vancouver board in February only had 1,750. The amount of new listings, let's take a peek at that. Come on, internet. So you'll see the listings up and down and up and down and up and down. That's very typical for the turnover of every year, as you can see. Last year was actually an exception because the downturn in the market started early, right? We had that kind of, we had a ton of listings, and then the demand kicked in and the downturn started early. Thankfully, as I've reported, on some previous videos, the Vancouver Real Estate Board has, got a bunch of listings back, but the Fraser Valley Board has come off of almost no listings completely. So the number of active listings, this will illustrate that a little bit better. This is why our market seemed to go so crazy. At one point in time in December, we had 1,700 active listings on the market. That's everything, including now rentals in the Fraser Valley Board. Way too low. That is what caused our prices to skyrocket so fast. No matter what anybody else says, that is what did it. And low interest rates. At the same time, now you're going to see that that's coming back, and it's actually now coming back, meaning the market will slow down faster than the Vancouver board. And that is also what we are seeing out there right now. The Vancouver board is actually slipping into a very busy market. And the Surrey market, the Fraser Valley market, is slowing down. So it's weird that they're kind of converging at different ratios. But I think that's a result of the price gains that we've already seen in Surrey and have not yet seen in the Vancouver board. I keep trying to say Surrey versus Vancouver, but really it's the Vancouver board versus the Fraser Valley board. Now, sales versus active ratios, and this is going to be illustrating again how hot the markets are getting or have been. You can see that they, again, track very, 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 very close until 2021, and then they start to diverge from each other. I'm going to pop into 3 years here. Again, getting into 2020, they were very closely connected. When we hit 2021, they separate. And the sales to active listings, basically that means how much product is turning over continuously. The Fraser Valley board hit almost 100% of listings coming on the market selling. That's nuts. It never happens. And the Vancouver board didn't get above 50%. So as new listings come on to the Fraser Valley board, you're going to actually see that this is a very big determiner actually of the listings slowing, or sorry, the market slowing. So you can actually see in this graph almost how busy the market is. And you'll notice that the turnover of the new year, the blue line, the Fraser Valley board, is turning down and the Vancouver board is turning up. That to me is strange. That's actually saying that the epicenter right now of the market here in BC for the first time ever is not Vancouver. It's actually the Fraser Valley. That could be, like I said before, investors, probably affordability in the first place, but let's keep going. An interesting thing here, which is percentage of original list price. I know a bunch of people have fought me on whether or not this is a good stat in the past. In a normal market, I believe it is. I do agree with you now that it is no longer a good stat because people are intentionally underpricing, realtors and sellers are intentionally underpricing properties. Basically, this line here is 100% of list price. You'll see in 2016, we started to average above, but usually we're in the 97%-ish range for list to sale price, meaning I list my home for $100,000, I'll probably sell for $97,500. Look at this. This is crazy time. The overall market in the Fraser Valley, if my internet works, has shot up dramatically. There we go. Now I got it. The average sale last month was 109% of the list price. To me, that's absolutely crazy. I think we're going to start to see that coming off. But again, that's showing me that the Fraser Valley board has outperformed the Greater Vancouver board. I'm going to do this. Then now that number is by median. Sorry, that was median. I said average. I apologize. Let's see the average now. And we're going to see that it's actually higher. Oh my goodness, it's actually higher. The average is actually higher, but it is again outperforming. Let's see if I can scroll back out. You can see again they were always very, very close to each other. Currently, the Fraser Valley board again is outperforming. Price per square foot is an interesting graph. Just so everybody understands, the average price per square foot across all property types in the Fraser Valley board right now is $678, $883. However, this graph usually looks a whole lot like this graph, and it looks a whole lot like this graph. So you will see, even though the Fraser Valley board is lower, you will see price per square foot usually tracking along with sale price pretty easily. And the last determining factor to compare markets is days on market. So that means the property comes on today. How many days does it take to sell? Let's take a look. Very, very close. Vancouver, I think, is always going to be, should be a longer days on market. Just because they have so many areas that are so expensive, but this graph is actually proving me wrong. Let me pop in really, really tight and see how we're doing. So when the market was really, really busy, it was average Valley and Greater Vancouver to be under 2 weeks, usually about 7 or 8 days. And right now, the real estate board in the Fraser Valley here has kind of leveled off at 7 days, still on average 7 days. Or sorry, this is median. I apologize. But the Vancouver median is coming down. And then if we look at average, wow, it's really, really dropping. Now, this is an interesting stat to me. that the average days on market in a hot market has still been a month. So that leads me to believe that the good properties are still selling very, very quickly within a day, or sorry, within a week. But there are so many properties that are still coming on the market that are not sold, that those ones just stay on for so long, it brings up the average. However, this is a very, very interesting stat. In January, the average in Vancouver was 33 days on market, and that dropped by 13 days. As opposed to only dropping by 7 days in the valley. So here's what I'd like from you now. I'd like to know what you think about those numbers. Do you think that the Fraser Valley board has outperformed mostly due to work from home situations, the fact that it's cheaper, and there's a very good chance that there are more investors coming into the Fraser Valley than Vancouver? Maybe you think that the city of Surrey and the Fraser Valley has finally come into its own and it's a more desirable place to be? Or do you think this is all about to reverse, and that as we get back to normal, things will normalize and the money will flow back into town as opposed to the valley? If you'd like to book a call with me to find out which board area is the right fit for you, you can do so right down below in the description with just a few simple clicks. And as promised, if you're an agent that has powered through listening to me blabber on about stats and you're interested in taking Tom Story's real estate course or mine, you can use the discount code STEVE10 at checkout to save 10%. Thanks for watching. Please remember to check out my Instagram to stay up to date on my listings. Subscribe to the channel, click the like button, check out another video before you go, and we'll see you in a couple of days.